So, good afternoon for me. Good morning for you in lovely sunny Florida. Is it, Danielle?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so I am back here with, oh, just the amazing Danielle Matthews. Now, Danielle and I have got to know each other over the last few months, and we connected through the redox signaling molecules, the Asea company, because Danielle, being a fellow biologist and way more experienced in using this for a lot more time than I have, and we've just got more and more in common, Danielle. So I wanted to invite you on today to tell us a bit more about yourself and your work that you do with your beautiful brain body self approach to life, business, the universe.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I'm so happy. It's interesting in my work with Asea, the people that have been attracted into my world and that are attracted into that company, I think in particular, it's fascinating because we all have such similar, I think, missions in life and are all doing beautiful things to help just raise the vibration of humanity, help lift others up, help kind of be a beacon, a guide for others. And that's just one thing that fits into all that we do. So I'm happy to be on that journey with you, and I'm happy that our paths crossed. And I'd love to share about this concept of brain body self. It's kind of like the mind body spirit. But for me, I use the word brain because everything sort of shifted in my life when I sustained a brain injury. And it's interesting, Catherine, because it's nearly 10 years, like almost to the day. It was June 23rd of 2012 that I got hit by this drunk driver. And
Shivers.
yeah, it's crazy to think what the last decade has meant for myself and my own personal growth and realizations about so much, about how our mind works, about how our body heals, about our spirit and why we're truly here. And there's so much more to this life. And over these 10 years, it's been like my own personal journey, but now turning around and getting to help others or touch others, that are on a similar journey and are asking similar questions. So it's been a lot of fun, but I kind of think about it like I educate people about the power of their brain. And by that, I mean their mind, their thoughts, everything that we think we create. And it's funny because we're creating our own laws for our own life, and people I hear say all the time, like, oh, well, I'm always late, or, I'm always this, I'm always that. Like they're just continuing to create that in their life and draw on the circumstances like the traffic jam, the whatever that makes them late. And then you have those people who say, oh, I'm always early, and everything always works out that they can always be early. And I mean, it's just a simple example, but that's what I realized was the power of our mind. And it, when I was at home with my brain injury, I couldn't do much, Catherine. So I was with my thoughts for a long, long time. And I think when you're in that space and really have nothing else to do, you start asking questions, you start getting to know yourself on a very different level. And that's what opened me up to realize, wow, there's more to me than just my brain and my thoughts and what's going on. There's actually like an observer behind. And there's more to each and every single one of us. And so that's when meditation came into my world, and I started to get to this space beyond my thoughts. And I went, well, what is this space? And what magnificence can I bring in from here? So that's just a piece of what opened me up and why I got so interested in the brain, how it works, our mind, how we think, but then also meditation and the philosophies, the yogic philosophies, really, that I think are incredible, because these yogis, they spent their entire lives like contemplating questions like, if there was one single truth that if we all knew would solve everything, like what is that truth? And they figured it out. And it's just right there, like in their scriptures and their teachings, and meditation was designed as a tool for us all to realize it. And it's like, holy cow, there's so much. So I love sharing those sorts of things with people.
Oh, do you know, there's so much going through my mind there. There's always so much I want to speak to you about. I must arrange to do a round table with you and my friend Bryce from Esoteric Atlanta, because she is a massive yogi and so experienced. Mm-hmm. What I love about this journey, I mean, you mentioned it right at the start, is when you open yourself up. I've just got off a chat with Ahuna, and we were talking about the importance of letting go of what no longer serves you to allow what does now serve you to come into your life. And we all go through different phases of our life, and you 10 years ago had a catastrophic thing that just came out of the blue and pulled the carpet from under your feet, and there's no way you could have predicted that, but you've managed to use that for such a positive experience, not just for you, but also, I understand, for your family as well.
Yeah.
But there's so many, we're all on our own individual paths. And what I love is, we both started off as biologists. I love biology. I'm an eternal student in mind, body, spirit, sort of brain, body, self, whichever we want to do it. But this linkages, I love getting older because you start to see all the different bits of the jigsaw puzzle coming together. But also, I know there's also so many more bits of the jigsaw puzzle that I've still yet to discover. And that excites me so much. And what I love is the fact of the more you get into this work, the more you realize that everything is connected. And also there's just infinite possibilities opening to ourselves if we can let go of what doesn't serve us, our conditioning, our belief, our brainwashing at a subconscious level, but also let go of what we've done to our bodies, consciously or unconsciously, through choices or not through choices.
Yeah. Well, what's so interesting, it is like, the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. And it's like my intro into science is biology, right? But I've been fascinated recently by like the quantum world and quantum science. And it's like, holy cow, just how it's all connected and how we create. Like I was talking about how our brain, and our thoughts create things, but our thoughts cause things to manifest physically in our body if we're not careful, and I have been fascinated recently by just kind of watching, like I became an observer of other people because during my brain injury, I couldn't do much. So I was just like watching the people around me, family, friends, and just seeing how they were kind of creating this space, around them. I think situations that would draw in, like I have one family member that it was just like constantly spiraling down, another that just constantly seems to breed success. And it's just fascinating. If you were to talk with them, you could probably guess very quickly which one was drawing in which situation. But our thoughts, if we stay, like I think about grief. Some people have a hard time processing grief and letting things flow and letting it go. And if grief stays in your body for too long, it will start to manifest in different areas. Like there's certain teeth that are related to grief, like the lungs. You start to manifest issues in those areas. And so it's interesting because you can almost then like reverse engineer. So if you have a chronic spot in your body, like my low back was always bothering me. And I thought like, well, what is that? Because there's nothing physically there. You go to a massage, like there's nothing that should be a problem back there. But I would have these like little spasms. Well, I think it's Louise Hayes, her work.
I mentioned her in all my thoughts. People, I think, sorry to interrupt, but Louise Hay and Joe Dispenza.
Yes.
And recently Wim Hof is moving very to the top of my list. But yeah, Louise Hay's work is amazing. So amazing.
It's phenomenal. So you go, okay, if this is where I've got this ailment in my body, like what is that teaching me? Because our body is speaking to us, right? So our body's trying to tell us, what's going on. And it turns out like that had to do with like insecurity around like financial insecurity and money. And I thought, oh my God, how fitting, because after my car accident, I couldn't work. I couldn't earn. And I was constantly like, the biggest trauma, I think for me was that psychological piece of holy cow, like the insecurity around it of like, I don't have my physical health, so I can't perform any sort of work to earn money. And, fortunately I could be with my parents and they took care of me, but I couldn't shake that for a very long time. This knowing that, wow, tomorrow something else might happen. And then, then what? So that was actually why like Asea became such a part of my world. Cause I thought, wow, in a model like this, I can help other people. And if something were to happen to me, my ripple effect would still be going out. And so I thought, wow, what an interesting way to create a different type of security for myself. But yeah, our bodies, it's phenomenal. So now when I have like friends, family members, they have issues, I immediately go to the internet and I go, okay, what is that part of the body? Like, what is it trying to tell them? What do we maybe need to work through? Because even if we have the best health technologies, and we're doing things like Asea and we're supporting our body, I think if you don't have your mind right, you will keep manifesting dis-ease into your body, because that's all disease is, right? It's just dis-ease. And whatever you're having issues with in your mind or, that's in your life, right? I always think life is just a mirror. So whatever's happening in the physical world is because there's something in our mind that's maybe unresolved. Until you resolve that, you're going to keep bringing situations into your health if you're not aware. So anyway, I think, the scientist in me just is going crazy recently with well, what does this mean? And how is it all interrelated? And, how do you then backwards engineer it all and, use it as almost a guide, like our body's like a map, teaching us what it is that we have to learn. And I think our souls came into this lifetime to evolve. And so we're bringing in certain situations. Like, I know my higher self orchestrated that car accident. Yeah. I know that now. And it's like, okay, what was I supposed to learn? Am I learning? And I've become somebody that, like, I wouldn't have recognized myself a decade ago, who I am today. And it's beautiful to know, like, all right, more is just going to happen. I'm 33 years old. What's going to happen with the rest of my life? I have no idea. But it's like each challenge it teaches you the strength that you have within you. If you let it, if you don't let it, if you don't ask, why is this happening for me? What am I meant to learn here? What is this challenge making possible? You're going to be like this in life. It's going to be very difficult. But I think, the Chinese say that the element of water is the most powerful because it takes form to everything around it. It's completely non-resistant. And so if you can just not resist life and go, all right, this is happening. Not that I accept it, condone it, whatever, but it's happening. So how can I flow with it? What is it meant to teach me? Anyway, I don't know how I got down that tangent.
Oh, it's so much synchronicities. It's just beautiful. I mean, this is what I'm noticing with every person I'm speaking to. On paper, it looks like you're covering different areas, but everything links in together. And I get so excited. My family take the mickey out of me because everything's so exciting. It is. Every conversation is just another aha moment. And I think why you and I, one of the reasons we get on so well is this thirst for knowledge and this thirst for how can I give more? How can I contribute more? How can I spread this message? Because some people have to go through something catastrophic in their life to get the message. But as Joe Dispenza says, we don't have to. It's nothing wrong. There's no judgment there at what stage. The universe isn't in a hurry. The universe is happy to give as many messages as you need. And as I said, there's no judgment there. I mean, I'm 54 now. Trust me, it's taken me a long while, Danielle, to get some of the messages. And I'm sure, I know there's still a lot more to come. It's like, I wear hearing aids and I've been fascinated for a long while as to why. And the traditional approach is, well, it's hereditary. Your parents had the same hearing loss. I don't go for that at all. We might have hereditary behavioral traits, hereditary mindsets, hereditary trauma stored in our body at a cellular level. But equally, I've had a lot of gifts from having a period in my life that I haven't been able to hear very well because it's made me listen at a very different level.
There you go.
Now, I'm hoping, universe, I'm putting this out there. If that's the lesson, feel free to amend my hearing. Because
I'm ready for the next. Okay.
It's annoying. Don't worry if you're ever gossiping about me because I'll never hear. So you can get away with murder. But the synchronicities are amazing. And what we both love doing is learning from all sorts of different sources and then sharing that knowledge. Because my passion is I really do feel that we're moving into new times, new ways of doing things. I was just speaking to my friend Huna about the 5th stage of Lemuria and the time before confusion. And I feel like there's a huge link between that and the work we're doing with the redox molecules, because when you get that communication between your cells with source, whatever that means for you, with other beings, some might be human, some might be animals, some might be plants. When you get to that stage beyond confusion, which is so intrinsically linked to true communication, do you think?
Yes, absolutely. No, I absolutely do. And I love how you're drawing each and every one of those things together. I think, with redox, to me, it's like light encoded in a way that our physical body can use it to communicate better. And I mean, communication is the key to all. And I'm thinking about all the things I've watched redox do for people, and just lighting things back up that get turned off. I think about, just like I watched a lady who had a hearing aid, just because you're speaking about that. Okay. So she says, Danielle, do you think I could put the topical in there? Because the hearing aid irritates me. Yes. And I don't know that I would put that gel in your ear. I said, but can't hurt to put the liquid, just put that in, see what happens. I kid you not, I get a phone call like 2 months later, and her husband says, Danielle, are you sitting down? And I said, okay, sure. What's going on? And goes on to tell me, like, she's in the shower talking to him, the hearing aid's sitting on the counter. Yeah. And he's like, Danielle, you don't understand. I said, holy cow. Like, I never anticipated something like that. But when you can get things just talking again, communicating again, I mean, that's the secret to it all. And we're all in communication, right? Everything is linked. We're all just energy, whether it's a plant, animal, the cells in our body, you and I talking, we're all in communication. We're all interlocked. It's like, I don't know, a friend of mine described it as like, there's these silver threads. Okay. And these threads, they're tied into each and every single one of us, but they're all tied together. And so it's like, that's how we draw in situations, because we keep pulling on the same thread until we pull that thing to us. And it's the same with animals. If you want, we are in communication with them, the threads link us. It's the same with plants. It's the same with our body. And it's just, and we all have it because we all come in with this, right? We all come, it's like the way I view it is like, we're all coming from the ocean, right? And we come up as an expression of the wave. And we forget, because we're in this land of form, we forget our true essence, that we are the ocean, and so each of us has these talents. Each of us are connected to everything, just like every drop in the ocean is connected. But sometimes we forget, because as a wave, right, you're up in the air, you're seeing all these different things, in the land, in this form that we're in here. So we forget, but everything's connected. All the communication is always there. And it's just like you said, you had to get quiet. And same with me, I had to get quiet to realize, yours was a different kind of quiet, right? It literally got quiet. For you to listen in a different way. It was the same with me. I mean, my world stopped. I was in bed, like, blackout fabric on my curtains. I couldn't be with people. It was too overwhelming. And so who am I with? I'm with myself, and I'm doing meditation. Right. And then you realize, whoa, there's a whole nother level here and way to interchange. So yeah, that when you can look at everything as like those silver threads, I think it all starts to make sense about how we're all like interwoven and connected here.
Yeah. And I think, we do, when we're born, I mean, yes, there's always an exception, but, we are born with everything we need to sustain a vital and happy life. What I mean about that is, when you look at young children playing, they're not worried about all the things that adults are worried about. They're not worried about what color they are, what sex they are, what they're wearing, what type of house they're living in. They're just interacting, and they're in the moment. And the sad thing is, and you could go through most times in history, although I don't believe most of our history anymore, I must say. But you could go through most times in history, and every time in history has got its different challenges. But what we're looking at now, we've seen the rise of chronic diseases in the whole Western nations up to a level of all-time high. We've seen life expectancy drop for ourselves and our animals. The life expectancy of our domesticated animals is absolutely shockingly low compared to what it was a century ago. And yet, despite all these supposed advances in technology and science, so, we're not going in the right direction. But the beauty is we've got that capacity within ourselves. We all know there's this ridiculous thing, and I got told off by my holistic vet friend the other day for repeating the phrase junk DNA. We know it's not junk DNA. We know we've got all these powers within us that, when I say they've been hidden, that we've been taught not to use and tap into. And now there's this huge awakening of people that are realizing, hang on a minute, we have such an amazing ability to heal ourselves, to manifest the life of our dreams, to contribute to be a really active participant in the world we want to create. And what I love about the things that we're working with not just the Asea, but the meditation, the cold showers, the people that we're surrounding ourselves with and attracting into our lives, all of these are putting back what was designed to be there in the first place, and lost them through, we talk about the aging process as being normal, but, we've all got examples of people that are the same age as us, and people do age very differently depending on circumstances, mindsets, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
So what I love about all these things is it's really back to nature and using technology, what I like to see it in the best way of look, you know, whether you believe in God, source, universe, creator, whatever it might be, they created these things for a reason. They are beautifully, perfectly designed, and I have just been so blown away by the results just in the 3 months, 4 months that I've been using the products. I mean, one of my relatives who's in her 80s, a distant family member, she's used the product for a week, Danielle, week and a half, a week and a half. She's completely blown away by the changes she's noticing. Because there's me saying, well, you know, it will take about 3 months possibly before you notice a difference. She says 3 months, 2 days I was noticing a difference. Not only was she noticing a difference, everyone else, you know, we err on the side of caution and things, but it's so beautiful to be able to share these gifts with things and try it with people and transform lives. What could be better?
I know. I have to like pinch myself sometimes because I'm like, how did I get here getting to do this? You know, because it just seems surreal. Like I get to watch magical things happen with people on a daily basis. So it's become the norm. Like these miracles to me have become like normal. And it's because like the body is innately like this physical body is so innately intelligent. All right. And it's like we talked about, the communication is key. And so if you can restore the communication of your body to do what it is designed to do, wanting to do, striving to do, to get back to that original blueprint, you're going to see incredible things. So, and you never know how long it's going to take. That's kind of the fun thing with redox is I always tell people like, you know, I get a front row seat to your movie as it unfolds. And I don't know if it's going to be a quick one or a long one. Like me, it was a long journey. It took 3 months before I noticed the thing happening, but it's so incredible to witness like where it supports people and how it supports people. Cause it goes in and everybody has like a different area that has damage, you know, a different area that's needing repair, different things that need to get turned back on. And so, you know, the ramifications of that, I mean, we see such a wide breadth of health get restored. And it's fun to watch and it's exciting to watch. And you know that it's going to be a gift to everybody. And it's like, how can you not give this gift? And the other piece is, you know, I think things are hidden in plain sight. As you just said, like everything was given to us. Yeah. And sometimes we have a certain notion of how things should look and we get hung up on things. And it's so interesting. Like this is like Asea, it's through the network marketing model, right? And Catherine, I can't tell you how many times over the last 6+ years, that's been the hang up.
Yes.
And I'm like, do you care that, you know, like, not that this is a good example of what you should be doing, but you go to McDonald's and you have a hamburger. Yeah. Do you care that the hamburger is through a franchise model? Like, what does that have to do with the hamburger? And with this, it's like, do we care that this is coming through that distribution model? Like, why do we care? But also, again, the power of that. Like, I also often think when things get suppressed or like told like, oh, that's terrible, to me it's like, I want to go explore that, because, you know, why is someone trying to push this out of my site? Why is it saying, you know, why is that happening? Well, if you go and you explore this model, to me it's the most pure model, because it's helping other people grow and prosper, and then you grow and prosper. And I think that is the solution that, to me, you know, our friends Jay and April, they call it the 5D economy. And I'm like, yes. And it's been sitting right here in front of us, right? Because as we help one another, it helps us. And like, I cannot be helped unless I help other people. And it just, that interconnection that we were talking about, it's all here in a business model. And I don't see a downside to it. You know, I've been 6+ years, I'm kind of like waiting, like, all right, you know, what's the saying? When's the other foot going to drop, or whatever that is? And like, it hasn't. I'm like, it's pure. When done well, when done without the ego, when done from the heart space, it's just a beautiful thing to see. And again, like I said, the people that get drawn in are so incredible. It's just this community of light workers, this community of people that have a different view for what humanity can look like, for what our healthcare can look like, for what prosperity and abundance can look like. And when we all get together and we start talking about that, the voice gets louder and louder and louder, and we help more and more people achieve their best life. their best health. If you have your health, you can go perform in whatever way, right? All the other things that you're doing in the world, or just be a better mom, be a better, spouse, whatever it is. I just think there's so much that we get to do that's interwoven with this incredible technology, right? That's a true breakthrough. But there's more to it, right? There's all these layers that kind of surround it that I think bring even more to people.
I so agree with you. And I'm really grateful for our mutual friends, April and Jay, because, again, I have been going through a stage, everything links, the 4 agreements or the 5th agreements. And so much of this resonates because a lot of the stick that people get, but because they've had bad experiences. So you've got the product, as you say, and we've got an amazing product. And particularly with the world we're living in at the moment, which is rapidly changing, but a lot of people can't barter. In an ideal world, we'd be all living in beautiful communities and we'd be bartering services and we wouldn't need to exchange money. But at the moment where we're in now, there's a lot of long distance communities being built. We can't necessarily get everything we need on our doorstep, etc. So building these communities, and so many people have become aware over the last few years about the pitfalls of a lot of the big global companies that have built up. And people are very well aware that they don't want to be supporting them, and money is just a form of energy. And when you're giving your money, you're flowing your energy. What companies do you want to be flowing and supporting and giving your energy to? Because those are the ones that are going to be carried forward into our future. And what I love about this, I've never quite understood the problem with people have with network marketing. It's just a label that is like calling, the amount of times I've been called a conspiracy theorist over the last few years. Well, for 20 years, actually, Danielle, and I'm very scientifically based, but, my views on vaccines and things have been very challenging to a lot of people. But the thing is when it's like anything, if there's a trigger there, the trigger is with the person that's got the trigger, not with you. And it's important people look at that. And it's really, really important that people don't get put off by other people's limitations. The thing is, I used to have my own natural product shop, which I was so, so proud of. It was an online shop and an in-person one. And I sold every type of natural product for humans and animals. Beautiful, beautiful products, that the amount of blood, sweat and tears I put into sourcing the best products. But most time when you go into a retail shop or an online shop, if it's not a small sort of family run business like mine, the staff have to sell the ones with the biggest profit margins. So people don't think twice about the fact that when you go into a physical shop, you're paying for the distribution centers, you're paying for the profit margins at every stage of the process. And the advice that you're getting is based normally, not always, but often on which ones make that shop the most bigger profit margin, because they've got a business support, they've got rent to pay, they've got staff to pay, etc. Whereas everything is an exchange of energy. And the people that get involved in companies like Asea are people that are passionate. There's no one that's not spreading the word that isn't using the products themselves. What better way to get it first? And everyone's got different experience. I love understanding how everything works, both at a biological level and also a spiritual level. Other people are really good at the business side of things, which I'm not. That's great because there's something for everyone. But I'm very, very conscious of where I spend my time and energy at the moment. And I personally made a decision with my whole family that we were only going to be supporting companies moving forward that are moving forward to create the world that I want my children and my grandchildren to be living in. Now, sometimes you're limited in choice. Like, for example, I'm on a certain platform now. But I do believe that anything, it's not the actual thing, it's how you use it. And are you using it from a heart-centered place? So these companies, these opportunities, and look what you've managed to do from something that was so catastrophic, and imagine the impact that must have had on the rest of your family. Must have been, as a mother of someone, of a child that's the same age as you were when you had your accident. I think that's why I feel it so deeply, such a huge impact on your family, but they've benefited hugely from the direction you've taken now, haven't they, as well?
Yeah. And it was interesting because it was when I had my mindset shift. So for the first year of my accident, I was like this. I mean, I was refusing to accept it, wanting to get my life back, just like not happy. And I had severe depression, severe anxiety, panic attacks almost daily, where I would shake, I would like lose feeling in my body. I'd be crying, I'd soak my shirt. I mean, I couldn't stop. And then somewhere around a year in, I just realized like, life is a game, Danielle. There's new rules on your game. How can you still have fun and be happy within these new rules? And it changed everything. And so I started a gratitude journal. Every night I insisted before I went to bed that I'd write something that I was grateful for. And we're talking like there was not much that you would look at and think, what can this girl be grateful for? But I'd be like, I had strawberries on my salad and the strawberries were delicious, something like that. And it rewired me. And all of a sudden, all I could think about were all the good things. And then it was like, I have 100 things that I could write tonight. And when that happened, I think my family, like, they just let out this sigh and they went, okay, she's going to be okay. She's going to make it, because regardless of the physical symptoms, because they were all still there, I was becoming happy and grateful and like enjoying my time in a different way. I could sit in a dark room with my grandparents and talk with them. And I learned so much about my family's history and just the wisdom that they've gained through the years. Because as you said, as you get older, it all starts to click. And so I'm like borrowing their years of growth and understanding and development and going, okay, what are the important things in life? So it was interesting to watch my family shift as I shifted. And we impact the world around us. So that's why I always think, the more I can work on myself, the more I can become more, the more I can just continue to grow strength here, it extends out to everybody. We're all connected. And so the best thing you can do is work on yourself. And it's going to help shift and almost show an example to those around you as well. And it'll change your dynamics with the people around you, even your animals. I mean, my dog, he's so tied into my energy. It's rare that I get angry, but if I start to like have that come up, he'll start barking. Like he's like, this is uncomfortable. And I'm like, why is he barking? I'm like, oh, I'm getting frustrated. Okay. So it's kind of interesting to see those dynamics.
I love it. I get the best feedback from my animals out. And the thing is, it's like, it's so comical in our house because, the animals, any of them, it doesn't matter whether it's the dogs, the cats, the guinea pigs, the horses, they can all give me whatever feedback they like. If that same feedback came from my husband, then obviously no.
Exactly.
It's like I love listening to my animals eating, but a human making noisy eating, no. It's so funny. You can just put a fursuit on and you can be tolerant and take the feedback. But one of the things that you touched on earlier was meditation and how much that has been. And I know your website, and Danielle's contact details will all be below, but your website, Brain Body Self, and you've got, I'm just reading it here, on the self, you do a certain type of yoga for relaxation and empowerment. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Oh, I'd love to. So yoga nidra, and it's interesting. So I mentioned before that the yogis, right, they spent their lifetime asking this question. If there was a single truth that if you knew would solve everything, what is that truth? And what they realized, or I'll take everybody through this. Okay, Catherine, so ride with me on this. If you're listening and you're driving, don't close your eyes. But if you're just listening to us, close your eyes right now. And I want you to picture yourself standing on a beach. Okay. And it's just you, the beach, and the water as far as you can see. And now I want you to see a boat starting to come into your vision over on the right side. And this boat, doesn't matter what type of boat it is, but this boat is moving. And as it's moving, it starts to take up your entire vision. All you can see is this boat. But the boat's continuing to go, and now it's going off the left side and it's out of your vision. And so you're just standing here again, you, the beach, and the water. And so open your eyes, and the yogis would ask this question. They would say, all right, Catherine, are you the boat? No, right? It's like, wait, what's the question here? No, I'm not the boat, right? I was the observer watching the boat. But at some point, the boat took up all your view. All you could see was the boat. But again, you were observing the boat, so you were not it. And the yogis say, that's the same with your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. Your thoughts come in and go out. Sometimes they take over everything. All right. And it feels like we're consumed by it, but there's an observer witnessing it. And so the yogis say this is the single truth, to realize that you are more than your thoughts. And when you can realize that you're more than your thoughts, all of a sudden you can kind of step back and you can create distance, and you can say, okay, let me witness, why is anger coming in here? You know, why is happiness coming in? Why is joy coming in? Why is frustration coming in? And rather than what happens with most of us in life is this emotion comes, this thought comes, and then we are just like pulled around by it, right? Because we don't realize, oh, we can detach from this and we can decide, how is it that I want to react and respond to this, rather than, you know, just have a reaction. And when you do that, you create the space to put a different intention, to decide how it is that you want to interact and react with life. And so the yogis designed meditation, this yoga nidra specifically, to help you detach from your thoughts and get into that space of being the observer. All right. So then with the yoga nidra, you put an intention in, and that intention is, how do you want to react and respond to life? So I came across this during my recovery from my brain injury. And so I use the intention, I am open and patient, just open to what's unfolding in my life, patient as it unfolds in the time that it's meant to. And it's so incredible to have that pop in at different times, right? With, you know, maybe a person that I'm being frustrated with, just I'm open and patient, right? Let this unfold. What is this? Be the observer. And what I love with this practice is it's good for anybody. You actually lay down to do it. So it's not a meditation where you have to sit up straight and all of this, which can get uncomfortable. You literally lay down, like have a pillow, blankets, in a very comfortable position. And the way that they do it is they designed it to walk you first and to get like stress out of the body. So there's some physical things that you do. Then it's breath work, to start moving the breath through the body. And then it's some energy work, like visualizing different things happening. And this drops you down into the same like wavelength you're in right before you go to sleep. And that's the meditative space, right? That's when thoughts are going away, you're about to drift off, but the meditative space is right before you drift off. And so this takes you right down to that. And then that's when you insert the intention. And I think about it like that movie Inception, where it's like you're planting something down here that then, you know, is going to come and come into form. But that's what you do. So this yoga nidra is designed to help you get into that space, set this deep intention rooted in the subconscious, and then you kind of walk people back out. And it's so profound. I've had people that say, you know, I can't meditate. My mind's too, you know, there's too much going on. I can't quiet it, to sit in silence. There's just no way. I keep thinking, how long is this? You know, none of that happens here, because your only job is to listen to the guidance, and the guidance is taking you through different things that it just is designed to drop you in. And what I love with the meditation, there's so much research around it now with what it's actually doing to the brain, the neural connections that are happening, how it's literally just helping you be able to, like with your judgment up here and decision making, it helps you to be able to stay calmer and be able to, you know, not have that reaction, but be able to respond. And I have so many students that have said, Danielle, you know, I'm at peace amidst the chaos is the intention that I'd use when I do group classes. And I can't tell you how many times people would say, you know what, Danielle, my kids were throwing a fit. This was happening. That was happening. And all of a sudden that intention just came into my mind. Oh, I can be at peace amidst this. And, you know, and then it's a different space for you to be in the same situation. So that's Yoga Nidra. I absolutely love it. It comes from the Amrit Yoga Institute. Guru Dev brought these teachings over here to the US, and his daughter, Kamini Desai, is who I learned from. And I just feel there's such a blessing, these teachings. And so on my website, there's like a free practice if you want to try a 20-minute nidra. They need to be at least 20 minutes, maximum 45 minutes, but it's like the same as getting 3 hours of sleep with the amount of relaxation that your body has. And there's another course on there called The Single Truth. And it's getting at, it's teaching that single truth, making you realize that you're more than your thoughts, and teaching you all of these things. And then there's a Yoga Nidra practice for each lesson to help you, again, get in touch, to actually practice physically what you're learning philosophically. And that's what I love about meditation. It's like literally a tool to help us realize that we're more, get past the illusion.
Oh, I just absolutely love it. I really do. I mean, meditation's completely transformed my life and me. It really, really has, and such a big important factor for all my family now. And it's something that everyone can do, and you can play about and find something that suits you. Again, Bryce and I were doing a series on meditation because it's so important, and it's a thing we get coming up time and time again. Well, I can't quieten my mind. So for those of you that are watching that and you fit into that category, I'm going to put the link to Danielle's website below, and go and try that free session and just see. I'm going to try it. I'm definitely going to try it. And it's like anything, isn't it? What I say is, like, going back to our dear friend Louise Hay again, and she always used to say in one of her books that if you've got to spring clean your house, you know, you've got to get around every room, but people will start in different rooms. It doesn't really matter. And that's what I see about this mind body health connection, is the fact that you're making life easier for yourself. You get your body back in balance and get the connectivity there. That's going to have a massive impact on the way your brain works, and then that will have an impact on the amount that you get out of all these other practices, whatever it might be for you, whether it's different types of meditation, breath work, nature, exercise, the whole lot. When you start doing it, everything spirals upwards at a very rapid rate, because every little bit is helping the other one move further up the ladder. But the important thing is for people to start somewhere. And what you were saying about your dog and about when you get into that state, the beauty is the more of us that find these tools and techniques that work for us, we're all animating energy out into the world, and we will then affect every person and thing that we come in contact with. So let's make sure that we're affecting them in a positive way, not a negative.
Yes, absolutely. There's a saying, I think it was like Wallace Wattles, a book I read of his, that he said, you know, leave everyone with an impression of increase. And I think, like, what a profound thought. And for him, he was kind of talking about just in your words and actions. But I believe that now we understand on a deeper level that just energetically, the space that we're in, it impacts people. I mean, you walk into a room and you can feel if, okay, like something's going on there, I don't want to go there. You feel it. And so imagine if, like, when you hold a high vibration, a high frequency, you can lift everybody up to it, right? Yeah. I mean, you shine light into darkness and the light wins. So it's just like when you hold that space, and it lifts everyone around you. And so, yeah, whatever you need to do, whatever it is, some people it's their physical health, you know, that needs to get into alignment. That's what it was for me. It's like, okay, Asea is what helped that happen. And then it's like, you know, your mind also needs to stay quiet. You need to get and have faith in what's happening, and not let, you know, your ego just start talking. And for me, it was meditation that allowed that to happen. So I could be way more present with people. And I think that's such a gift also, to be able to be present and show somebody, I see you, I'm here with you. That lifts them in a different way. So there's so much we can do for one another, and we're all interconnected. And my dog, like, he helps me, you know, if there's times that I'm like, feeling like, okay, I'm going off a little bit from my center, I'll go outside and I'll pet him. And it's like, when you can get as close to source, and I think that's what's beautiful about animals, it's all instinct, right? They're still so in alignment with their source, because they don't have a brain like ours. It gets them all crazy. You just watch. It's like you said with children playing. I think the same with animals. They're just in the flow, because the mind is quiet. And so you can reconnect with that, right? You can hang out, you know, if you have kids, hang out with them and be in that beauty. If you've got animals, just hang out with them and be in that space. And it helps reset you.
Oh, I massively. I posted a really sweet little video of my two doggies playing madly this morning on our dog walk, and jumping in and out of the water and leaping all over each other. And it is like recharges your battery so quickly. And they need me as their mum to be in the best state as possible. And if I'm not feeling physically on form, I'm not going to make the decision to make sure that I do my gratitude journal, that I meditate, that I get out in nature. So, you know, my view is absolutely, I 100% believe that we can heal our minds and body from anything.
Yes.
Just by thought alone. But why not make life easier for ourselves? It's like, I'm not at that level of mastery by a long shot, and therefore I embrace all these different things that make life easier for me and help me get to where I want to be.
Catherine, I'm so happy you said that, because I study a lot of Joe Dispenza's work. I talk to a lot of people and they say this to me. They say, well, I don't need Asea because my thoughts can heal myself. And I say, yes, but wouldn't it be supported? Wouldn't you be able to connect easier if this physical stuff wasn't screaming at you? Like, let's help clear the physical stuff faster so that you can connect in and do more, and then keep that health and maintain and go to the next level. Yeah, it's so interesting. And I also believe, that this is something with the Asea specifically, I can speak to, that when you're in a good state of health, it is like, it helps you intuitively. Like, I don't know how else to say it, except that it's like, I had a friend tell me that, she sees everything. She sees sacred geometry. And she said, Danielle, I see it coming in and just, it's like it's crystallizing the cells, and that helps activate the crystals in the pineal gland. And so you're just getting more in alignment. And I've had people tell me they feel more intuitive. They feel like their consciousness is expanding. And it's like, yes, there are tools to help the body do that. And this is one of them. So anyway, it's an interesting notion. I think that sometimes our ego gets in the way, like, no, this is all I need. No, it's okay. To support in different ways.
And that's the beauty of thing. I love it. I mean, everyone watching this, is in a different state in their life. They're wanting to try different things. They're in different financial situations. They're different physical situations. At the moment, the world we live in is quite often a difference between time and money. This isn't about concentrating on what you can or can't have. It's about, like the good old teacher saying goes, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. If you've got a stage where it resonates with you, things like this, I just love the product so much. I do want to do a couple of other talks with you going into more of the technical details, because one of the things I get asked about so much is because people are taking other supplements and things, but it's about detoxing, getting the toxins out. So perhaps we'll do a separate talk on that next time, if that's all right, because that's a really big focus for a lot of people at the moment, both for themselves and both for their animals. But, we're sharing this today, not to it's not just about one product. It's not just about one company. It's about how we live our lives and how we incorporate all of these things in together. And for people to take what resonates with them and leave what doesn't. It's so important that we don't compare ourselves to other people. It's easier said than done. So much easier said than done. It's always a work in progress. But I'm really grateful for all these amazing opportunities. As I said, as a family, we've had a lot of discussions about this over the last couple of years, and we've made a very conscious decision that we are going to be putting our energy, of which our money is partly that, into what we want to be moving forward with, which isn't some of these big global organizations that we now realize perhaps aren't great for the environment, for the staff, for ourselves, for the lifestyle, even the people working for them. And, we're here to have fun on this world. We're here to make the most of the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I just love connecting in with you, Danielle. There's so much we can talk about. And I think you're so inspiring, because so many people, when something like that happens to them, not everyone can get themselves out of that place. Not everyone can turn it around. And you've not only managed to do so, but also helped so many people in the process. Because had you not had the courage to share your story, you wouldn't be giving hope to other people that perhaps are going through similar things at this moment.
Yeah. It's interesting, Catherine. I didn't realize, because to me, it felt like, well, there is no choice, because I want to get better. I want to live a full life. And so for me, it was just like, I'm going to, whatever it takes to achieve that. And then when I got well and I started to meet people and I started to share my story, I didn't realize what you just said. I did not realize that how it would inspire other people with challenges that they had, different from, a brain injury, but people are going through all sorts of stuff. And to see someone else be able to overcome and still become what they're wanting, it truly is inspiring. And I had a friend of mine, talking about social media for a moment, for better or worse, these platforms, I hated it. I would get on there and it would make me depressed, because I couldn't do, right? I saw all my friends living life and having fun, and I couldn't. And so I refused to get on the platform. And I got off from my own mental, needs. And I had a friend of mine say, Danielle, you got to share your story. People need to hear your story. And for a year, this friend of mine asked me to share my story online. And I finally said, okay, I'll share my experience with redox in this private group that was just about that. And within an hour, it had 400 likes and all these comments. And I thought, oh, wow. I had no idea other people needed to hear that it needed to be a beacon of hope, of inspiration for other people. And I thought, man, I need to get out of my own way and realize you can be a beacon on social media. You can be a light. You can help spread a message that's going to lift other people rather than detract or make them feel bad about their own life. And so that's when I just flipped to going online way more, whether it's Facebook or Instagram for me, and YouTube is something I want to explore more, but it's just incredible what we can do. And so I'm so thankful, your family's making these choices. And I know, like you said, we're limited in some, but you're a beacon of light for so many. And it's you see that in me, but I see it in you. So how beautiful that we can kind of mirror that for one another. And who knows who will touch. I mean, I get messages sometimes from people around the world saying, thank you. Or because I heard your story, I said yes for my reason, for my health. And it's just how beautiful. Now I know part of why I went through what I went through. And just never question, right? We got to have faith in why our journey is unfolding as it is, and just play it all out. and the ripple effect, I will never know the true ripple effect I've had, and how beautiful is that, right?
Yeah. And also, I just want to say to people that it's never too late. Danielle's still so young. I've got people that I work with, whether they're four-legged animals or humans, that are into their 80s and plus, and they're having, through all the things we're talking about, through the redox molecules, through meditation, through lifestyle changes, through letting go of certain things in their life that never changes, they're having miraculous results and turning their life about. And it's a really important message I want to give to people, is we're so good as humans at beating ourselves up. I was reading today that we're the only species on the planet that follows unstable leaders, although my vet friend did point out that lemmings who do that too. So lemmings and humans who do that. We're the
only jump right off the cliff.
Yeah, we're the only species in the world that has forgotten how to feed ourselves. But also, we're the only species in the world, to our knowledge, and certainly in my experience of working with animals for 25 plus years, that is constantly berating ourselves and holding on to guilt for past decisions and mistakes. Right. And that is really damaging, because it holds a lot of trauma in your body. What I just want to just say to people is, it doesn't matter what decisions you've made. It doesn't matter how you've got to that stage in your life that you're at now. It really doesn't matter. You could spend the rest of your life in counseling examining that. But if you decide you want to make a change, then just decide you want to make a change and get the right support network around you to move you forward. It's all about focusing on what you want from now moving forward. Forget what's happened in the past as much as you can, because it doesn't matter anymore. There will be reasons for why that's happened.
Yes. And it's almost like you got to be grateful for the journey that took you to where you are. I had some nasty things happen in my life, but it's it helped me become who I am today. To put where I am, even to question, right? So if it's somebody that's going, why are these things happening? Don't so that you could question and then realize that there's more, and that you can now create in a different way. And I think about the founder of Asea, his name's Vertus Norton. He says he founded this company at age 69. And he has said that the decade of 70 to 80 has been the best decade of his life, with what he's been able to do, because he's been able to give. And he said the mission of Asea was to better people's lives and be a force for good in the world. And he just wants to get it out to humanity, every individual across the world. That is his mission. And so because it's so pure, and he made this big pivot, he came out of retirement, he did all these things. And so this last decade, 70 to 80, who'd have thought, right? Everyone thinks, oh, you're going off into the sunset, right? And you're not worried about things. But here he is, still having a major impact on people around him. And it's never too late, and your soul is here for that reason. Allow it to wake up, allow yourself to get activated in a different way, and give in a different way.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, thank you so much, Danielle. Now, Danielle's contact details are going to be below. My contact details are going to be below. If anyone wants to find out more about the products, the one thing I am going to say is if people want to find out more and try the products for the first time, please contact me on the email address shown in the description box below, because there's different ways. We won't go into it in this video, but there's different ways you can buy the product. And I want to make sure that you get it in the most cost-effective way and know how to use it for your best benefit. There's so much support out there. If you want to be part of this community, we open you with welcome arms. If not, it doesn't matter at all. It's not about that. Please let us know about your journaling, your meditation practices. Feel free to try Danielle on her websites, her free meditation. That's what I'm going to be doing later when I finish work. Especially since I know I can lie down doing it, double bonus.
Yes. I know, it's the best.
Yeah, and just keep learning, keep exploring, and keep sharing. Thank you so much for that, Danielle, and thank you so much for anyone that's watched us. And we're very happy to have comments in the questions in the comments below. I do always read them. It might take me a few days to read them, but I promise I do. So, any final words from you?
I'll just say thank you so much. And I can't wait. If people try the meditation, I would love to hear how it goes for you and what you experience, because it's powerful and you can go very deep, very quickly with this meditation. So yeah, enjoy it. And I'd love to hear what happens.
Yeah, we'll all give you feedback next time. Thank you, everyone.